Hello, Jeff Foster, WebBiz Ideas. This tutorial is on what type of content you should produce. Now the main goal is to learn different ways you can produce content online. And since this is a post-Panda and post-Penguin update, it's really to help you also stop producing blog posts or web pages that are just around a certain keyword that you want to rank for. Right? You've done some keyword research and you're just going to throw up a page or a blog post that's perfectly optimized for this keyword so you can rank for it. Right? We're going to teach you, right, alternative ways to build content, right, that people actually want to read. Now the only prerequisites that you need is number one, creativity. Number two, you really actually have to care about your industry. And then number three, it's just not being lazy. Because I'll tell you, this tutorial is not for people that aren't willing to do the work. This tutorial is going to teach you how you can become an expert in your industry, how you can be an industry leader, how you can be a trusted source in Google or an industry hub for content. Right? And if you do that, anything you produce without doing SEO, without doing promotions, is going to rank number one automatically. So if you're willing to do the work, I'm going to show you how to rank number one without doing really any SEO. So before I get started, I just want to make a clarification on what I mean by type of content. So I don't mean format. I'm not talking about you should create a video. Videos are popular. Create videos. I'm not talking about infographics, right? Infographics are very popular. Create infographics. Create an audio file. Create a PDF and create a white paper out of it. I'm not going to be teaching you how to do that. That's obvious, right? What I'm teaching you are types or ideas that you can produce, and then you can create the format in any different ways you want. You can create them in all different formats. I encourage you to create it in all the formats for the best results. And another question I want to answer before I start is how much content you need to produce, because many people say, Jeff, I don't have time to produce a video. I don't have time to sit down and to draw some infographic and produce 5 blog posts a week. And so we're not asking you to do that. And to illustrate what really has success in content marketing, I want to take an illustration I heard from the book Accelerate, the owner of Vertical Measure wrote. And in there he gives the illustration of the MLB total season stats. So in 2011, 75% of all the hits were singles. And then very few were actually doubles and triples and home runs. So what was his point? Well, you just need to get on base consistently, right, to win the game. You just need to consistently produce good content to rank number one in the search engines. All right? And every now and then, you'll find that perfect pitch that comes and you'll hit a home run. But we're not asking you to do that. So we're just asking you to spend maybe a couple hours a week to start to do some of the basic content marketing. And then you can grow from there. So to get started, I'm going to go over 17 different methods or types of content that you can produce. Now, number one is interviews. And from interviews, there's 5 different types of interviews that you can do. The number one would be in person, where, right, you're just videotaping maybe yourself and someone else, and you're asking questions. On the right would be at a conference. That's the second type of interview you can do. Right? Go to a conference where industry leaders are and interview them. Right? They're an industry leader, you're not, and now it kind of merges somewhere in the middle there. Another type of interview are just at a home office. You don't need to get fancy. You don't need to travel and pay $1,000 to get in a conference. You can interview yourself at your home office. And then finally, on the right-hand side is a Skype interview. So again, Skype's free. Get a webcam, and now you don't have to leave your office to do an interview. And then I apologize, actually the last one is on questionnaires. They're on the right-hand side. And so what's a questionnaire? Well, really it's just asking people questions, having them answer, and then publishing the results. So a very easy way to do that is to get a list of 10 questions that relate to some topic within your industry. Email industry leaders or email maybe partners or vendors that you work with and ask them to reply back to you with their answers. Right? And in return, maybe you'll mention who did it, and then you can publish all these results. And now you have unique content on a subject that you can publish. And right, who knows? Maybe all the people that participated will link to it after you publish it as well, since they contributed to it. Now, a couple things to note. The first thing is, who do you want to reach out to? Well, that is influential people within your industry. And so you can see our other tutorials, perhaps on finding related websites or finding people to find these influential people. But you want to reach out to industry leaders, perhaps top journalists, bloggers within your industries, even competitors, to do these interviews. Because again, you want to be associated with those people. And then the second is really you want to convince people to interview you, so you can build up your own brand. And so one tip to do this also is just for the search engine tip is when you're interviewing people and you do it in a video format, you also want to publish the video transcript because you want Google to know what it's about. Not just the title, but you want Google to be able to crawl all this text. So when you publish a video interview, make sure you do the transcript as well. But going on, the second type of content that you can create are lists. So lists are very easy to produce. It's exactly what it sounds. You create a list of something. So the two examples I have are one, the top whatever blogs, So it's the best blogs of 2011. You can have the best financial blogs or the best political blogs of 2011. And the other example is like the 10 best of, So it's also just anything, It doesn't have to be types of websites or blogs or journalists or people, It can also just be the 10 healthiest breakfasts that you can make in 10 minutes or less. So simple lists like this are very effective. Sometimes you may say, oh, it's another list, but the thing is people link to lists, and that's what you're looking for. So to show you an example of this is just a simple list of a political list that was way back in the day, actually. But the point is, it was published, and we're trying to figure out if this is good content, Does Google find it valuable? Did it get people to link to us? And so doing just a simple search using Open Site Explorer for the URL of that, you can see that the top one is nationalreview.com. And so what's interesting, if you go back to there, who is part of this list? Well, National Review. So the great thing of doing lists, especially lists, like the top 50 real estate blogs, is if you reach out to the top 50 real estate blogs after, after you publish them, a lot of times they link to you. And so again, now you're associated with these people, but they might say, hey, and the New York Times said I'm one of the best blogs of 2011. I'm going to promote that. I'm going to link to that. And so creating lists not only produce great content because they're unique, but it also produces great links. And a lot of people start sharing this, linking to this, tweeting about it, and it can be very good as a promotional marketing strategy. Now, one tip before I leave this type, the lists, is what I was saying before about media formats. So a media format like this is a simple blog post, It's text. There's nothing more. We have the other example of the healthiest, a blog post is text plus images. That's okay, that's good. But one thing that you can do is take something very simple like that and also add a graphic, an infographic. So now, you have a list of major Indian 2012 holidays. So this is just an example of how you can take something really, in my mind, boring and make it and spice it up. You can actually search online for lists, perhaps from 2004, that got a lot of people to link to it, 81 people, and then redo this list and perhaps make it in a different format like this, and perhaps reach out to the same people. Hey, this person linked to this one in 2004. I'm going to reproduce that list. I'm going to create some fancy graphics and videos that go along with that list, and I'm going to reach out to them too, because chances are, if they link to this one, they're going to probably link to mine too. I'm going to say, hey, this list is updated. Here's a new published page. Can you please update your link? It works very, very effectively. So lists can be a very effective way to really influence people along with creating great content. But now moving on, the next type of content that we're going to get into is informational content. So when we mean informational, I'm going to go over two different examples, and one would be a white paper, and then two would be a definition or an explanation. So the first is a white paper. Right, instead of just creating a blog post on a topic, right, we want to take the extra step to create something exceptional. So when we do that, we want to promote it. So for example, on how to get ready for mobile recruitment, right, we just don't want just a normal blog post. We want to take the extra time and we want to create perhaps maybe a guide, a PDF document on this. And then a lot of people, what they do is you just can't download it, but you have to give something, right? Your information, and now you have a connection. Maybe you have to follow you on Facebook or Twitter, things like that. But informational content can be fantastic to promote online, but also start networking, and that's a lot better than a blog post. And then the other type is a definition or an explanation. So Wikipedia is the perfect example for this. So let's say you're a building maintenance company, and part of building maintenance, there's 200 different things that you need to maintain in a certain building, and there's definitions, there's explanations that need to be done on what you're doing. And so perhaps you put out a guide of the building maintenance guide for government buildings, for schools, for golf courses, and you explain things and you define things just like Wikipedia does, and you link it all together. Right, that's an example of informational content. It's not just that, hey, building maintenance includes these 100 things, blah blah blah. Right, that's boring. But perhaps an entire guide like Wikipedia, right, encyclopedia on that topic can be very informative, and a lot of people can link to that. Government agencies, schools might link to that building maintenance checklist of everything that's needed. And so if you take the extra step, a blog post can accomplish that as well. A blog post, I have, one blog post this week, one blog post next week. There's no organization besides some categories. So if you create also a nice landing page for it, that does exceptionally well. The next type of content that we want to go over is instructional content. So instructional content is very similar to informational, but now what we're doing, right, we're instructional posts, right, tell people how to do something, almost like a tutorial. It's almost like doing a research project in high school where you gather all your information and then you publish it in an organized way. You're almost reporting to people on how to do a certain subject. And so the perfect example is really the video that you're watching now. The video that you're watching now is part of a much larger tutorial on local SEO that we published. And so here's the landing page, or the start of the landing page that we're building. And so again, it's not just one page on local SEO, right? There's multiple pages on it, and it's in a nice format that people can learn from. It's an entire resource center. Right? Instead of just a blog post with text, right, there's a nice video on top. And then there's a tutorial below with images, with steps on how to actually do it, along with resources you'll need for the project. And even on the right hand side, you can connect with the author, and then you can even download this in a slideshow or a printable format, perhaps maybe if you wanted to print this out for your company. And so again, this is not a blog post. This is not just a page written about a certain subject that you're trying to trick Google into saying you're an expert in. This is a full tutorial on local SEO. And so this is what you want to do for your business. You want to create resource centers, not just blogs, right? You want to create a research project and publish that, not just a blog post with categories. And so if you do this, you're going to be an industry leader. You're going to be an expert on this topic, and Google's going to reward you with #1 rankings. Now, another method of creating instructional content can be tips. So tips are usually, right, like 10 tips on how to do something. Or it's a tutorial, right? 10 ways to do this one topic. Maybe you don't have, again, the time to produce an entire tutorial on something, but you do have that time to maybe create 10 different tips on how to do local SEO. And that can be, again, a very good way to do and produce instructional content. Hey, maybe you create this in a PDF document and you allow people to download this, and now people not only can download it, but people might find that informative. People might link to that and say, hey, here's 10 tips on healthy eating, or for kids, or whatever the topic is, and now that's something you can promote online. So one tip before I leave the instructional part would be on helping you create content fast. Let's say you have an hour a week to do this, and you don't really have that much time to be like too creative. Well, one thing you can, if you find content like this, that's, hey, it's about dinner and healthy and kids, is to do searches for similar topics, like perhaps maybe 10 healthiest foods to lose weight. And we don't want to copy or steal content, but at the same time we want to get ideas. So you can go to Google, do a custom date range, let's say 2008 to 2011, right? It's 2012 now, and now we can kind of find some old content. Hey, there's 78 pages that has this title of 10 healthiest foods to lose weight on. Maybe I can look at that content and perhaps copy or repurpose or redistribute some of this old content. Maybe it's old, maybe these videos aren't that good, maybe these pages are just poorly built these days. And I want to produce something fancy like this. Maybe I can take that, reproduce it, and now again I have my tips or tutorials on how to do that. So that's just a quick tip on creating tips. There's usually a lot online. And so a lot of times you can do this research, maybe consolidate some of these old ones into something fantastic. And keep in mind, when you do that, a lot of times you want to take these links, right? Take these web pages and throw it into a tool like OpenSite Explorer and see if anyone in the past linked to them, and then reach out to those same people that rewarded them with links to see if your more recent tip page can get those same links. Alright, but going on, polls and surveys are a different type of content that you can produce. I'm going to go over two different examples. Number one is how-to polls, and number two is trending topic polls. So polls can be a great way to produce unique content and a great way to get a lot of highly influential people to link to you. And that's what you want to rank number one in Google. So an example would be, I'm just going to use something in our industry where every year David Mim, who's the owner of this blog, reaches out to thousands, or let's say hundreds of local SEO experts, internet marketing experts, and he polls them on what they feel the top local search engine ranking factors are, right? The top things that make people number one, and then he simply publishes the results. Now the difference between this and just a questionnaire is this is a very reputable poll or survey from very reputable people, and it's a larger number, and everything's a lot more accurate here. So, but this is a great way to produce unique content. Thousands of people link to this page because he publishes this every single year, and this is fantastic content. He publishes everything about this poll and survey. So for you as a business owner, you want to do the same, right? You want to pick topics, how to do something, right? This is a tutorial on how to do something, and perhaps poll. Let's say you're a doctor of some sort. Poll, 100 other doctors that are influential within your industry on that topic, and then publish the results so other people can benefit, right? David Mim even he promotes the people that contribute to him. He's saying here are the people that are contributing. Follow them on Twitter. But the point is, he's not really creating competition for him. He's establishing himself as the industry leader. These people are all good, right? These are secondary people, right? He even includes himself in here. But the most important part is now he's publishing it. He's the industry leader. In Google's eyes, he's the industry hub. And so now his website is extremely, extremely valuable. So you want to do this for your company as well. Now the second type of poll or survey you can do are on industry topics, right? The last one was on how to do something. This one is on more trending topics. What's popular today, right? The Apple iPhone is coming out. That's popular. Everyone's talking about that. Everyone's talking about Twitter, Facebook, right? The IPO. People are talking about that. And so trending topics is you want to find out a way that you can incorporate that within your business. Now for us, we do social media marketing, so we talked about Twitter because it's a tool that you can do social media with. So for us, what we did is we polled 850 different businesses, and we asked them certain questions on what you would pay for business functionality on Twitter, right? What price would you pay? Are you willing to do this, right? So Twitter's free. We're basically asking people, are you willing to pay? We had a lot of questions. We paid a company to do this. Again, this is not just a normal questionnaire. This is a very professional survey that they followed certain rules and regulations. So companies, like VentureBeat, which is a huge news media outlet, would actually pick it up because it's credible, right? And now they produce it. They link back to us. Not only do we get to publish it on our blog, right, but now other people are talking about this. In fact, hundreds of people picked up the poll and survey. It was a very effective poll. And the reason is it's unique content. Again, you're not just producing a blog post on, hey, people should pay for Twitter, or I think people should pay for Twitter, or, this is a very informative one. This is, a major news and media outlet picked this up. And so polls and surveys can be a fantastic way to produce unique content, but also influence many people, get a lot of great links to your website that can rank you #1. See, this is unique content. This is a unique blog post. This is something that's actually informative that people might actually want to read. This is not just a blog post. And so polls and surveys can be a very effective way to produce great content. Now, a quick tip on doing polls or a survey, on finding those questions, might be going to a site like Yahoo Answers and start typing in topics. So let's say you sell ties and you're looking for ideas. Well, maybe type some stuff into Yahoo Answers and, hey, do women think bow ties look sexy on men? Or, hey, you're doing searches in Google and it's best ties for a job interview you keep finding over and over. And so those could be questions that you could poll other people. Maybe you're polling fashion designers. Maybe you're polling industry leaders within your industry. And that can produce great polls and surveys, finding out what questions people already have online. So the next type of content I want to go over is viral content. Now, really, it's not a type of content. So I just wanted to take a quick breather. I know it's a long tutorial, and to go over what viral content really is. So a lot of people have a hard time producing viral content. I've seen this Old Spice commercial, the video online. I want to produce something just like that. How do I do it? I keep trying to produce these viral videos, but it's just nothing's working, right? I can't get the followers. Well, maybe it's so hard to make content go viral because there is no magic formula to make a video go viral. So my tip and advice to you is stop focusing on making things go viral and start focusing on really great content. Because, you can go online and you can find fantastic information on how to understand viral content, right? They'll give you a magic formula, right? They say you do this, and this, but you follow it and it just doesn't work for you. See, the problem that most people are missing is they're trying so hard to produce this content that goes viral is that they're not focusing on producing really good content. So I suggest taking a look at these, especially this article by Rand Fishkin on his manifesto on content marketing, and to learn really what is great content. Learn what your marketing strategy should really be, and the answer is producing fantastic content. Because keep in mind, right, we're not looking to produce home runs, right? To produce great content and to rank #1 in the search engines, we don't need a home run each time. We don't need our video to go viral, right? Perhaps we just need our video to do well, right? We just need to get on base. And eventually, that right pitch is going to come along. We've been producing content for a couple months. We're very in-depth in the industry. We know what's going on. An opportunity comes along, and then we can, swing at it. But we're just looking to get on base. We're just looking to consistently produce great content because that's what, that's what produces runs, that's what wins games. And so that's what we're looking to do too. Great content, good links, we don't need to get crazy. So don't focus on viral content, focus on all this type of content that I'm talking about. Focus on just producing great content using these methods that I'm talking about, and you'll have a lot of success. But going on, the next type of content that you can produce is news. So basically, you become a reporter within your industry, and you're reporting on the industry, right? You're reporting on what's going on within whatever business that you're in. Now, again, remember, you only need base hits. So if the story's big or you're the first to cover it, right, perhaps you can put more emphasis on it, and you can try to hit that home run. Maybe you can send out that press release. Maybe you can start promoting it. But not every story needs to be, a home run. So you can still produce, great news stories, report on what's going on, And if you do it consistently enough, again, eventually you'll come across that right story that no one's covering, and you can hit that huge home run, be the first one to cover it, send it out through the PR, the news wires, and get fantastic links from it. Along with, if you continue running with the story, fantastic content around that certain subject. But again, now it's not just a blog post on a certain keyword, it's more on the subject, the topic, and you're becoming an industry leader because you're reporting on it. People are actually looking to you, for the answers. People are looking to you for, what's coming up next. And this is a very fantastic way to position yourself as an industry leader within your niche. The next type of content that you can produce are reviews. Now, a lot of people call them different things. They can be product reviews. You're familiar with that. But if you're a service industry, it's a little different. So you can also have reviews and also kind of contrasts or compare and contrast types of content. So to start though, if you were writing a review on a product, it would make more sense. So let's just go over that quick. A perfect example would be something like this. You're comparing products and features. Now obviously they're selling this, but you can do the same as a business owner. Even in a service industry, you can have the new Porsche Boxster revealed. Visit the website or read the review on the new Porsche Boxster. You can write a review on anything really, and you can create in a format that has the stars and it looks very nice. You can download WordPress themes if your site's in WordPress that's like this. So if you're a business owner, a service-based, start looking at maybe products within your industry you can review, books within your industry you can review, blogs within your industry you can review. Start reviewing or testing processes or ideas that people have in your industry. And don't just produce, a piece of content. Don't just produce a blog post that's all text, What's the difference between these two images? I know it's a little blurry, but one, they're both the same information, but at the same time, one has nice fancy graphics and reviews. It looks like a review. I want to read this because I can browse through it very quickly. This I actually have to read. So when you're creating things like reviews, create them in nice formats. Take the extra time to make sure they're user-friendly. Take the extra time to, contact a web designer and produce it in a format like this, and so it actually is user-friendly and people actually want to read it and watch. And again, if you're a business owner in a service industry and you're struggling with, you can't just find products to review, take some time to go into Google and type in some main keywords like this. Let's say you're in the heating and air conditioning business and you're a local business and you're like, what am I going to compare and contrast? Well, you could also, if you don't have enough products to compare, which I know there's a lot, but you could type in HVAC, and then just the word verse. Let me kind of show you this. So we're in Google, This is our subject. So whatever business you're in, you can type in your keyword there, or your subject, or your product or service, and then just start typing in something like this: HVAC verse. And you might say, hey, HVAC electrician versus heating and pump. Maybe HVAC versus this, central air. Maybe, whatever it is. Maybe we go to Google Images and start typing this in, Maybe we know some stuff too, like the geothermal, and we start typing things like this in and say, hey, what can I write about that people are talking about, This is a kind of a compare, it's kind of a contrast, it's people have different viewpoints on this, What should I create? What should I write about? HVAC versus geothermal, HVAC versus space heaters, Should I use a space heater or should I do heating and air conditioning? Here's a debate. Maybe type in the word HVAC plus debate. Should you repair or should you replace? These are all technically reviews for a service-based businesses. It's a review. It's a compare and contrast type of article. And so again, this is a blog post. This is not just a keyword you're doing. Of course, it's going to be about the keywords you're doing business on. You're going to be talking about HVAC. You're going to talk about a space heater. You're going to still rank for that information. But now you're not creating a blog post for the search engines. You're creating a blog post for users, And so add some nice, images to your things when you're doing the comparing and the contrasting, and you're going to have great success. So this is, people ask, what should I write a blog post about? Not just a keyword, but hey, things that people actually want to read about. The next type of content that you can produce is case studies. So case studies, it's a very simple formula. And again, many people call this also like problem posts, because really that's what it is. The recipes, there's a problem. So you're going to describe the problem or the case question you want the reader to solve. And then you're going to organize and show your solution for that problem. And then you're going to publish your results. Again, going back to high school, right? You have your report that you need. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. Here's the final result. It's a very simple formula, and it works over and over again. And you can get very fancy with this. You should publish it in a PDF format. You should publish it in a webinar. And you should publish it, in a video format. But at the same time, you can also, keep it very simple. This could be just a blog post, right? You could. Right? Here's a case study, right? Self-sufficient custom home in New South Wales, right? Obviously, they're a real estate broker. They're going to be talking about real estate. They're going to be talking about the place that they're located in. So now they don't have to create a blog post about real estate in New South Wales and create that keyword over and over again. Google understands. But now it's just a case study on creating self-sufficient custom homes. And he's reviewing some products on how to make it more, right, self-sufficient. So this is a great blog post that's actually useful to people, and it's not just on a certain topic or subject. And so here's a perfect example of a case study, right? It's a problem post. It doesn't need to be too elaborate, right, to serve the purpose of answering that question. At the same time, you have more time, more resources, and you don't want to write, but maybe you want to create some fancy images. These aren't that fancy, right? It's a picture of a tree, a car, and a person, right? So here's a case study on water conservation. Maybe you're a landscaper. Hey, I'm trying to teach people and homeowners on conserving water because that deals with landscaping. I can position myself as an expert. I'm not selling people on landscaping, but maybe I can get 100 homeowners that do landscaping to start following my blog because I'm teaching them things about landscaping. Right? And so here's just a simple illustration on how you can conserve water by washing your car. Right? And graphics are fantastic these days. So this is another example of a very easy way you can do a case study. Right? The problem is there's a drought. Maybe you can tie that in to the drought that's happening, this year, and reach out to newspapers and magazine editors and say, hey, I have some tips on water conservation. I've done an entire case study on water conservation, and here are my results. Maybe I polled, 500 homeowners and found out, their problems on water conservation or on how much they're paying for this, and here's the solution for it. Right? Get creative with your content. Pay money to have polls and surveys. Pay money to have these graphics done, because you know what? One post like this, one case study that's extremely helpful will be better than 1,000 blog posts that some content writer just wrote about some keyword phrase. So spend the extra time to do this. Do the hard work, right? Become the industry leader. Even if you didn't rank this in number one in the search engines, your customers would enjoy it. Your followers that you already have on Facebook and Twitter, right? That maybe your email list, they would love this. Customer retention would be there, and you start positioning yourself as an industry hub for that topic. And again, a tip on doing case studies is, again, use Yahoo Answers. Start typing in water conservation in Yahoo and finding questions people are asking about that. Right? Look at this. I mean, how effective is home water conservation, and should it be required? How effective is water conservation in restaurants, and should it be mandated? Right? So, hey, I can poll restaurant owners. I can do a case study on how effective what I'm polling them is actually working. I can publish my results in a poll and a survey. I can publish my results in an entire case study. Maybe I can have people download it. Maybe I can use it as a link bait. Whatever I want to use. Maybe I can reach out to editors of magazines, and now that I have a solution to perhaps this problem, I can get people a link to my site about that. And now I can be an industry leader. Maybe they'll interview me about this. Right? So there's so many possibilities when you produce great content. Right? When you stop producing blog posts, when you stop just producing a landing page, on a certain subject because keyword research says, you need a rank for that. So spend the extra time, produce the great content, and hey, if you start doing research online and there's other polls and surveys and there's other case studies on effective, water conservation in the restaurant industry, well, you better make yours better. Right, you better read theirs, right? You better go through there and learn from them, and perhaps combine all the research. Perhaps the research is already done, but now you're going to create a video on it. Maybe you're going to create an infographic on that, right? Those are different media formats. Maybe you can make what they've done better. Maybe you can quote it and source it, but now you've created in a better format that people understand, right? You can go back and create in an image format or maybe video formats. So you don't need to stop if there's other information out there. The whole point is don't make something of less value or don't just try to copy them. You have to make it better for this stuff to work. Alright, going on, rants. I kind of feel like this tutorial is a little bit of a rant because again it's post-pandas, post-penguin. Our company has been focusing more and more and more on content marketing over the years, and then it's finally something that's blown up now. And so a lot of internet marketing people and SEOers are not doing this. So again, a good rant can be fantastic content. Hey, that's maybe it's a rant on producing content or link development, or hey, it's a rant, from a celebrity, on Apple. But hey, companies pick that stuff up. So a good rant every now and then is extremely good. People like reading people that are perhaps a little frustrated on something, and hey, if you do it semi-respectfully, it can come out very good. Kind of going through this and try to get through this a little quickly. Stories can also be a great idea, right? Tell a story of success, right, or paint a picture of what could be. Right, people like to hear good news, right? Stories in their niche. They like hearing stories that motivate them or like persist, right, in what they're doing. So if you paint this picture on what could be, where they could be, how it could be, right, success that you could have, you're going to have success. And a good tip is always focus on motivating people with your stories, right? People like to be motivated, so share your experiences or other people's experiences to do this in a story. And make it visual, make it into a video, right? Don't just write it. Going on, predictions. So usually these happen in January, December, right? In January, it's a prediction for 2011, or 2012, 2013, right? 10 green building predictions for 2012 from, Earth Advantage Institute. And it lists out, the predictions. At the same time, at the end of the year, you can say, publish what predictions came true. And you can do this every year, every summer, every quarter, however you want to do it. Predictions can be a fantastic way to produce unique content as well. Going on, what if articles. So what if article is exactly what it sounds. It's almost a fictional, post. So, right, it's, what if I could have it all, the livable project? What if we could, harness the force of renewable energy? So, right, what if cold fusion was, possible in everyone's home? And it's an article, it's fiction, about what if this could happen. What if we could live on Mars? And people like reading that. It's not possible, and it's still about your subject or your topic or your business. It's good, and it can get a lot of people reading your content. Now finally getting into the good stuff, the emotional appeal. So right, this is where you produce hilarious, stupid, unbelievable, embarrassing content. It could take you 2 seconds, just like this image, right? What's going on in this thread? It's just a weird post of something. And I tell you, sometimes these are the best. It costs very little. There's little time spent on this, but hey, if you have a lot of followers on your blog, or if you have a lot of followers on Facebook or Twitter, something funny and hilarious, it can spread. This is kind of what goes viral sometimes. So again, if you're kind of on a roll, you're publishing a lot of good things, your readers like you, and you got this great idea, something like this can be something very, very viral that can go. But the tip is try to make it, about your industry, so you can still get the brand and reputation value from it. Going on, contests can be another great type of content. So I have a few here to show you. Number one, a blog post contest, right? Maybe you're having trouble even producing blog posts, or it's costing a lot of money to produce all this content. Well, hey, take a breather and allow your readers to do it. So have a blog post contest. Who can write the blog, the best blog post about certain topics that you want, and give out some cash prizes or whatever it is. And hey, now you've had all your readers produce a lot of content. Another one, an image content. Image contests are great because it's very easy to upload an image contest, right? You can upload it from your iPhone or your computer, right? It's just a click of a button. And that can be a great way to engage people socially. Not necessarily producing text for the search engines, but getting a lot of people to follow you socially. And then the third example I was going to show you here, let's get to it. It involves a site that we manage, PA Charms. And again, you want to create things socially. So you want to create contests that are going to engage people and get people interested. And so Mykonos sells Pandora beads. But the thing is, you buy a bracelet, you buy the beads individually, and then you make your own bracelet. And so we built an application that allows you to basically drag and drop, right, certain beads onto this bracelet. And then, from there you can build literally your own bracelet. And so then, the idea is run contests on this, right? Who can build the best bracelet, right? Build the best bracelet, put it in here, and then, submit it to us. Whoever wins, gets that bracelet. But at the same time, now you get hundreds and hundreds of people interacting with your site, hundreds and hundreds of people following you, and then at the same time, if you allow these people to actually publish this bracelet that links back to your site, you may get hundreds and hundreds of people basically promoting your bracelets, your beads, right? They're going to promote what they've created. So the tip is, produce applications that people can use, and applications that they can publish, their creativity themselves, and people will actually promote your company for you. They will publish their work on their blog. They will publish it and promote it on their Facebook because they're proud of it. And so if you give people the opportunity to do that, again, not only are you going to produce unique content on your website, but your content's going to spread online. All right. And the very last, the 17th type of content that you can produce is on pricing and costs. Now, a lot of people don't like to talk about costs, but the thing is, people search about it. So they're going to find that information on your website or someone else's anyway, so you may as well give them the information. So again, think of what you do, the services or the product you provide, and it's that easy, right? How much does it cost to replace an HVAC system? And you want to provide the cost. It's not technically saying that you're charging that much, but you're giving people answers that they want to hear. And maybe within that cost, you can promote your company and why, hey, it might cost more, but we know we do the best job, blah, blah, blah. But providing pricing and cost posts, again, people are searching for them. It's unique content, and it's content people want to find. So it's the perfect content to produce. Now you can also do it a little different way, and you can produce content on costs, but on how to lower HVAC costs. Maybe you did a poll or a survey, and now you're publishing the results, and it's on cost savings. And so it's very similar, but again, people want to know this information. People want to know they're being overpriced, for them. People want to know how to save money. Even if it's saving money is a little less business for you, they want to know this information. So provide the information for them and you'll have great success. People will like what they're reading, they'll share it, they'll link to it, and again, this isn't just a dumb blog post on, hey, this is why you pick our company over others. Hey, this is the price that we pay or we charge you. It's the lowest cost in the industry. Buy from us, right? It's actually useful. And perhaps within there, maybe you can put an extra line of how much it costs, doing the HVAC system from you. How much money you save from, going through us. That's how you promote your company. Not that, hey, I'm an HVAC company in Minneapolis. Buy. So this is a fantastic way to produce content. So I know this is a long video. I know it's a long tutorial. It's a lot of information, and I know there's other different types of content that you can produce. So number one, I would love to hear from other people on different types of content that they produce, different ideas that they have that work very, very well. So please come to our website. We have a Q&A section that you can leave comments. Please do that. Also, if you're a business owner and you're looking to have more ideas, please come to the website and read those comments so you can also learn more. But also, I definitely hope that you implement these into your company. Maybe pick one of these a week that you want to focus on, and continually produce great content. Quality over quantity when it comes to content these days, post Panda, post Penguin. So to produce these types of content, you'll have a lot of success turning yourself into an industry leader, into an expert, into a hub of information, a trusted source in Google, and you will build many links as well as followers socially.